What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Well, it looks like all of the craziness that's been going on in Bristol, where ESPN is located, it has not affected ESPN's stance on how much they're willing to pay Maria Taylor. And it looks like to me that ESPN would prefer to just let her walk and not have to deal with her again. And also, according to the Washington Post, Rachel Nichols has returned to the air after all of the fallout. But there still may be some. But I told y'all, Rachel Nichols is deeply rooted in media, her connections. They're not just going to kick her to the curb. They're not. And there are a lot of people who believe that Maria Taylor leaked the audio or the story that went viral in order for her to get a bigger payday. Well, it looks like it didn't work because ESPN is still offering her around $3 million, because last year they offered her $5 million and she turned it down because she thought she could get Stephen A. Smith money. And when that didn't work and this situation happened with Rachel Nichols last year, I bet she pretty much had it in her mind that if she didn't get what she wanted, she would leak that story. Or her people, not necessarily her. I'm not saying she did it, but people that she is connected to. Because who else has something to gain from this story being leaked? Who has something to gain and who has something to lose? That's how I look at it. Now, this is according to the New York Post. It says, after her private and insensitive comments were made public, ESPN's Rachel Nichols was dropped from the sidelines to start the NBA Finals broadcast. Now it is unclear whether host Maria Taylor will finish the league's marquee event. This is despite a lucrative contract offer. Though it isn't Stephen A. Smith money, ESPN has a contract on the table for Taylor in the neighborhood of $3 million per year. I still think they're overpaying, offering her that. But anyway, the deal represents roughly 3 times more than her current $1 million per year deal. Sources said Taylor has interest from both NBC, Amazon, while CBS, Fox, and TNT are not involved because they don't see her as a generational talent, as Jalen Rose's daughter said. Listen, I think Maria Taylor is very good at hosting. I think she does an adequate job, but she does not have a lot of range. I think wherever you put her, she's going to do an adequate job. But when you're talking about talent, when you're talking about we need her because we know that she's going to bring eyeballs, she's going to bring an audience, right? It's kind of like when ABC has plucked a few people from ESPN and put them on their network, right? Why do you think ABC has not been really interested in any of the talent recently? Because they don't feel like they're going to bring any value to any of their shows. When Erin Andrews went to Fox, when she went to Fox, it was a big deal. Erin Andrews was the sideline reporter. Fox felt like she was a big deal. She wanted to do more NFL, right? And they said, okay, and they brought her over. She had, she had that type of quote unquote clout. Maria Taylor doesn't have that, because when all this outrage dies down, she's not going to have the same, the offers are not going to, $5 million a year for Maria Taylor. Are you serious? Anyway, let's get back to this article. Taylor's current contract expires in less than 2 weeks. On July 20th, which is the date of a potential Game 6 of the NBA Finals. If a new agreement isn't reached, it is unclear right now what ESPN and Taylor will do if the Suns-Bucks series extends. Well, they can do a handshake agreement. I have no doubt that they could probably do maybe a handshake agreement. Well, she'll finish it out. They may pay her a little bit extra if they're not going to extend her, because I think ESPN is trying to get rid of these woke women. They are. Rachel Nichols has some woke tendencies, but she's not outward about it as much as these other women are. And she doesn't have an army of just race hustling, race baiting people out there to side with her in these type of situations. Besides hosting the finals and NBA countdown, Taylor, who's 34, is the college football national championship sideline reporter and the NCAA women's tournament host. The new deal would expand her role even further, though the specifics are not known. What they could do with Maria Taylor, I was thinking about this. They could offer her own show. They could offer her own show where she gets to produce it the way that she wants to. And, you know, it could be a sports show centered around her, right? They can give her a radio show gig. You know, you have to have a work ethic to do radio. You know, Stephen A. Smith has done both. You know, they've had people who would host certain shows and then they would go and they would have a radio show. So she can do a podcast if she's not doing one already, I'm not sure. Or she can do a radio show. You know, they could probably give her more to do, give her more sponsorship opportunities, have her work one-on-one with brands. I don't know how those contracts work at ESPN. I think everything runs through them, but they could find ways for her to maximize her earning potential and not have to pay her. But that's up to ESPN, because ESPN, they're greedy just like anybody. So of course, you know, they're gonna want a piece of whatever is offered to her if she's under contract with them. All right, let's see. During the pandemic, when salaries were beginning to be cut, top talent was asked to take a 15% pay cut. And with layoffs on the horizon, ESPN offered Taylor a deal that would have eventually escalated to nearly $5 million in the final year. Taylor turned it down. The 53-year-old Smith has a salary nearly $8 million per year. Taylor has hoped to end up in that neighborhood, according to sources. Well, I don't think she's going to get there. Not at ESPN. ESPN doesn't have money like that. ESPN, I said it in my initial video about Maria Taylor. It'll be in the, I have in the description box. She's not getting Stephen A. Smith money. Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. Not only is the face of First Take, Stephen A. Smith is there. He's the marquee guy on their network. Name another person on the network that has the marquee name value that a Stephen A. Smith has. Stephen A. Smith is going viral every other day, seems like, from whatever he says. Skip Bayless does the same thing on Fox Sports. That's why they pay That's why they pay Skip Bayless what they pay him. He brings name value and he brings value to their network, Fox Sports. Stephen A. Smith brings value to ESPN. That's why he has so many roles. He's dependable. He tweeted that he gets up every day trying to figure out a way to make his bosses money. That's Stephen A. Smith. Does Maria Taylor have that same instinct? You know, are people going to be watching ESPN for Maria Taylor? That's what you have to ask yourself. I think that answer is no. Though ESPN is now offering less, around the $3 million per is still a significant raise and comes in wake of ESPN's pruning salaries. For example, longtime Corky Sports Center anchor Kenny Mayne was offered a 61% pay cut from around $1.7 million in salary, while MMA personality Ariel Helwani, who was making nearly $500,000, was asked to accept a 5% decrease. Both Mayne and Ariel left the company. Clouding negotiations is the New York Times article in which Nichols' nearly year-old private comments were made public. In them, Nichols said that ESPN may strip away her contractually agreed upon role as host of the finals because ESPN is feeling pressure about its crappy long-time record on diversity in the midst of Black Lives Matter movement. ESPN executives failed to take any meaningful action over Nichols' comments, which may have been illegally recorded. Times story came to light on the eve of the finals, and with Taylor's current contract winding down. Since the article, ESPN removed Nichols from the sideline, though her afternoon show The Jump was skipped prior to the first game of the finals. It is back on the air now. And that is what you can see from this article here from the Washington Post about Rachel Nichols being back on TV. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver questioned how ESPN dealt with the issue, lamenting the fact that Nichols and Taylor were not brought into a room to hash Nichols' comments out. Because Maria Taylor was whining about it and did not want to she did not want to squash it. I'm not saying that she has to, but you can't say that ESPN didn't try. I'm pretty sure they did, but Maria Taylor did not want to hear it. She did not want to hear it. She wanted nothing to do with Rachel Nichols, which is very interesting. That how did this audio leak? Who leaked the audio? Maria Taylor was holding on to this until she could use it, or her people, because I'm not saying she leaked anything, but I find it very suspicious how at the end of her contract, this situation blows up right before the NBA Finals. This situation blows up. Taylor did not respond to a text message asking for comment. ESPN declined comment. As for the normal process, Taylor's representatives have reached out to major networks, but NBC and Amazon are the only known potential landing spots, according to sources. NBC has a Super Bowl this year, which could create marquee opportunities. Mike Tirico is largely expected to replace Al Michaels as the Sunday Night Football play-by-player next season, which would open up a Sunday Night Football pregame show host role. And interesting sidelight to the possibility is that Drew Brees will begin as an NBC NFL pregame analyst this season. Taylor was highly critical of Brees after his comments last year in regards to players not standing for the national anthem. And I talked about that. I really just, whatever hope I had for Maria Taylor went away when she said what she said about Drew Brees. It was totally unnecessary. She calling him out, claiming that he doesn't, she basically claimed that he didn't like black people, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Maria Taylor probably doesn't even have black friends, but she wants to call this guy out because he's talking about how he felt about why he would stand for the national anthem. The guy did not disparage black people at all. But of course, she fell for the wokeness hook, line, and sinker to the point to where she's out here calling out this guy claiming that doesn't like black people. And that's when I felt like she was a lost cause. ESPN knows this. That's why they're offering her what they're offering her. They're like, you going to take this deal, or you can go to these other networks. Go to NBC where you have to be around Drew Brees, the man that you disrespected. Amazon, according to source, has interest in Taylor for its exclusive Thursday night package, which begins in 2022. She could be on the sideline or a host. For now, she is still under contract to ESPN, but the shot clock is winding down on her current deal, leaving in question whether she will finish out the finals. Well, I think we may be getting our answer because, as I said before, Rachel Nichols is back on the sideline. Let's read a little bit of this. This according to the Washington Post. Rachel Nichols hosted her long-running afternoon show, The Jump, on Monday afternoon and began with a brief apology. As we all know, she apologized to Maria Taylor. Skip through. It was a day after New York Times published and leaked audio of a private conversation Nichols had a year before, in which she suggested that Taylor, her colleague, will replace Nichols as host of the network's NBA Finals pregame show because the ESPN was feeling pressure to diversify its broadcasts. Skip through some of this. Nichols returned to the air Wednesday, but the saga has now engulfed the NBA Finals and the sports world. Well, no one's watching the NBA Finals, so I mean, how much is it engulfing? Nobody's watching it, so who cares who's on the sideline? Nobody watches the NBA pregame. Nobody watches the NBA games for who's on the sideline. As a matter of fact, we get irritated when they cut to the sideline reporter. Keep them off camera. Unless you have somebody who's highly attractive and, it is what it is. But if it's a crucial playoff game, keep them off camera. We don't care. It's the finals. We care more about the game. We don't care who's on the sidelines. Anyway, it's also a window into a high leverage contract negotiations at a time when ESPN is slashing talent salaries. The tape was released 3 weeks before Taylor's contract expires. And looming over everything is how ESPN allowed the situation to explode into public on the eve of the NBA's biggest showcase. It's unfortunate, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said during his annual State of the League news conference before Game 1 of the finals. I would have thought that in the past year, maybe through some incredible difficult conversation, that ESPN would have found a way to be able to work through it. Obviously not. But you got to understand, you're dealing with women. Women are very emotional. Now, two men can get together and they can hash out their differences. But women, on the other hand, it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. It really is. But ESPN is not budging. Y'all let me know in the comment section below. And let me know your thoughts.